Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, Alicia Malone with Scott, Movie Mantz, and the Schmoes Know. This is Profiles. In-depth spotlights on the greatest filmmakers and artists in motion picture history.
Hello, Profilers! We have a very special mother effing episode
so you can
for
actually
you
say
today.
It. I was like,
No, I keep it G-rated here for Profiles. But this is an actor that we're spotlighting today who has made more than 100 films.
Yeah.
He is an amazing actor. And it was like, why have we not done Samuel L. Jackson yet? So no better time than the present. Here we are.
Yes.
What is it about Samuel L. Jackson? He's the best.
He's such a prolific actor. As you said, over 100 films. He's the highest grossing actor of all time. He's played big roles. He's played sidekicks. He's been in blockbusters like Jurassic Park and Star Wars. And then he's been in indie films like Snake Moan. I don't think anyone delivers a monologue quite like him. And
No
he's good
way.
at being angry as well. Angry and funny.
I'm kind of afraid of him, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, you've interviewed him, haven't you?
Yeah.
Me too. And he's lovely, but yeah, he's always got that edge to him. I feel like he could turn on me at any moment.
Yeah, I interviewed him for Snakes on a Plane at Comic-Con in like 2006. And he was actually pretty fun with it because that was a movie, I know we're going to talk about it, but that was a movie that, like, the internet storm that caused was just crazy.
I'm wearing my Snakes on a Plane t-shirt right now, which I bought on opening day of Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, nice.
I still have it.
And you bought that where? Because you weren't in the U.S. yet.
No, it was in Australia.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see that again.
So it's got a
Snakes plus a plane equals snakes on a plane. That gets a high five.
Pretty simple.
The high fives are going already, but here's an actor. He is an incredible actor. He plays tough, intimidating roles. He swears a lot, especially one swear word in particular that we are not going to say, but if you know Samuel L. Jackson, you know where we're going.
Yeah, there was a supercut of all the times he said the word in a film, 171 times.
Which movie was that?
That was all the films he's done. So 171 times in films.
I'm actually surprised it's not more.
I know.
Because in one film in particular, it sounds like he does say it 171 times. But I got to say, as many movies as he made, doing this Profiles, I realize, he hasn't made enough as a lead actor. Mm-hmm. He's always a supporting actor. He always steals the show.
Yep.
But where are more movies where he is the lead, the de facto lead of character? And I feel like we need to start a movement with this episode of Profiles to make that happen.
Yeah, I'd love to see him as a lead more because he is such a great actor. I still feel like he has an Oscar there somewhere. He's been nominated before, but it would be great to see him nominated for a Best Actor Oscar. He just loves to work. He's working constantly all the time, and even the films that aren't such a success, he enjoys it. He enjoys the whole process. Pretty amazing transformation for him too, because he started out, he was a former drug addict.
Yep.
He was an alcoholic. Now he's so famous and doing so well.
Yeah.
It's just lovely to see someone take that, and just shine.
And he does shine, and he is very prolific. And since his breakthrough performance in Pulp Fiction, he's averaged like 3 to 4 movies a year.
Wow.
And he does like to entertain people. In fact, he himself said, "I'm not here trying to change the world. I'm just trying to entertain people. And I don't understand how people live without creating. I don't know how you do just one picture a year." You know how many people would kill for one picture a year?
I know.
But he's doing like 3 or 4. And I always wondered, what does the L stand for?
Leroy.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, Samuel Leroy Jackson.
I was standing next to a reporter one time on a line, and someone said, "What does the L stand for?"
What did he
said,
say?
"None of your effing business."
Well, according to IMDb, it's Sam Leroy Jackson, but I mean, that could be wrong.
Well,
but that's what it says.
But this is an incredible actor, and he's got so many movies this year. I mean, he was in Avengers 2. He's got he was in The Kingsman.
Yep,
Secret
Kingsman.
Service.
He's got Hateful Eight coming out.
Again, there's 3 movies right there.
Amazing.
But like you said, this was a hard start for him.
Yep.
So A Wonderful Life, A Tough Life, and that's our cue.
Samuel Leroy Jackson was born on December 21st, 1948 in Washington, D.C. His father, Roy Henry Jackson, lived away from the family, so he was raised by his mother, Elizabeth. Jackson was actively involved in the civil rights movement of the late 1960s, which included a brief stint with the Black Power movement. He then moved to Los Angeles and enrolled at Morehouse College, where he majored in marine biology, architecture, and then, finally, drama. But it was his Oscar-nominated performance as Jules Winfield in 1994's Pulp Fiction that really put Jackson on the map, and he's been working non-stop ever since. With a combined tally of more than $4.5 billion, Samuel L. Jackson is ranked as the highest-grossing box office star of all time.
I love that song.
That's a great song.
Ding, ding, ding.
We're going to hear more about that movie's music, in particular, that movie, later on in this episode of Profiles. But I'm curious, Alicia Malone, what is your first blood?
I was looking at his filmography, and I think it was Jurassic Park.
1993.
Because Jurassic Park I saw before Goodfellas.
Okay. Oh.
But that would have been one that I would have seen him in early on as well. So Jurassic Park, I remember Hold On to Your Butts. I remember his character and noticing him. And then, of course, when I saw Pulp Fiction later on, that was when I really, really knew who he was. But yeah, it would have been Jurassic Park. What about you?
Didn't he have that cigarette hanging out of his mouth the entire time?
Yeah.
Sitting behind that desk in Jurassic Park, and it just never moved.
Yeah.
It was always just sort of hanging there. That's what I remember about him in Jurassic Park. My first blood for Samuel L. Jackson is Jungle Fever from 1991. I remember when that came out, and I remember thinking he played the brother, the drug-addicted brother to Wesley Snipes in that movie. So it wasn't much of a stretch for him to play a character like that because he was still recovering from that.
It was like a month and a half after he left rehab that he did that movie.
Exactly, yeah. So great performance, harrowing performance. I remember thinking, who is this guy? He kind of stole the show. And I had seen, Goodfellas, but I mean, he had such a small...
Yeah, exactly. I didn't remember
shot,
him in
that. He got killed, he got whacked by Joe Pesci's Tommy DeVito. But that year, when Jungle Fever played at the Cannes Film Festival in 1991, they created an award for his performance, supporting actor, because he was so strong in that film, and they've never given that award ever since. He's the only actor to win a supporting actor award from the Cannes Film Festival.
Amazing.
That is how strong
And
he
I've
is.
never seen Jungle Fever.
It is very good.
So it's going to put that on my list.
Put it on your list, because one of these days we're also going to profile Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that will be on the list as well.
Definitely. Well, let's get on to a movie that is on our list. Fast Five. Number 5 is...
You are about to have a very bad day. Tell me about it.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Released May 19th, 1995, directed by John McTiernan. Cost $90 million to make, box office worldwide. For 1995, this is very impressive. $366 million worldwide. Watching this movie again,
I love it.
It's so fun.
It's actually my favorite of the Die Hard series. I know that everybody loves the original, but for me, Die Hard with a Vengeance is one that stuck with me ever since I saw it as a kid. I love how smart it is. I mean, the puzzles, and especially his character Zeus, Sam's character Zeus, he is so instrumental in solving a lot of those riddles.
Yeah, it's a smart movie.
It's a really smart movie, and this was the first time in the Die Hard franchise that they became like a duo, a buddy cop duo. I mean, he was a reluctant partner. He was working just in a Harlem electronics shop and trying to steer his kids in the right direction. And then John McClane comes into his life with the sandwich board, and then everything changes. But after that, the Die Hard movies, which the next one wasn't for another 12 years later.
2007.
Since then, they've always been the kind of duo.
Right.
Rather than the first few, and it was just John McClane by himself.
I'm with you. I mean, the first one is what it was. I mean, the first movie created a genre unto itself, where movies were like Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard on a plane.
That's right.
But Die Hard with a Vengeance, the pairing of Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, even though they hate each other, they have great chemistry, the back and forth between them, and then ultimately you sort of feel this gradual shift to where they become friends. But Zeus, the character's name for Samuel L. Jackson. So Zeus is the god of thunder and lightning, and Zeus, the character, is an electrician.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Clever, those writers of Die Hard with a Vengeance.
And Sam Jackson, for this role, takes a step back. I mean, it's John McClane, it's Bruce Willis's movie. And he's worked with Bruce Willis many times, so they have this great chemistry together.
But this was the third movie they made together, but the first one where they actually had scenes together.
Yeah.
Because they did Loaded Weapon 1, which nobody saw, thankfully.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah. So, but this movie, what I love about it, like you said, it's a smart film. It was originally, the title of the original screenplay was Simon Says.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be the fourth installment of Lethal Weapon.
Right.
So that didn't happen. So then that changed, and it became the third Die Hard.
I like also that the title is not a pun. You know, it's Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's not like Die Harder and all that stuff that came later. Die Hardest. The Washington Post was talking about the film and said that the best thing about the movie is the relationship between McClane and Zeus. Jackson is almost as good as he was in Pulp Fiction. I think that's part of the reason I really like this movie, is because of the chemistry between the two.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Well, I always like to quote the great Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
What he said about Die Hard with a Vengeance: basically a wind-up action toy, cleverly made and delivered with high energy. It delivers just what it advertises. Yes, with a vengeance.
It moves along at such a great pace.
And I love the first choice to play Simon.
Yep.
Was Sean Connery.
Oh, wow.
Sean Connery was supposed to play Simon, and the first choice to play Zeus.
Yes.
Was.
I think I wrote that down. No, I didn't.
Okay, it's Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, yes, role originally offered to Lawrence Fishburne. Yes.
He passed, and ever since, people have confused Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I think I saw him wearing a T-shirt saying, "I'm not Lawrence Fishburne."
That is hilarious.
They don't look similar.
No, they don't. They don't look alike. No. You have to be an idiot to kind of get them confused.
Exactly.
Come on.
Well, our profilers love Die Hard with a Vengeance. Steve Zissou says,
"Yay, Steve
says, I grew up on Die Hard. Sam Jackson as Zeus revitalized the franchise by bringing his humor to a much wider audience. His chemistry with his fellow actors is a very strong attribute, and that shined bright with Bruce Willis. They turned a tired formula into something fresh, and the franchise has lost all steam since." I agree. I agree. Die Hard with a Vengeance is the best sequel and rivals the original in entertainment, and it introduced Samuel L. Jackson to casual moviegoers. He has not missed a beat since as a go-to actor for any franchise.
Did you and Steve Zissou talk before this?
We didn't.
Because that is exactly what you just said.
Wavelength. And I didn't even see that quote till just now.
Well, there you go. Right on.
Steve.
Well, Norman Stansfield said Sam Jackson has an intense, commanding presence to him. He is great at playing authority figures as well as playing bad mother effers. He can also play characters who are outrageously funny, like Zeus in Die Hard 3 or Stephen from Django Unchanged. He is awful. Unchanged. Yeah. He is often the most entertaining part of the movies he's in, and that is absolutely true.
Well, there is a lot of great scenes when it comes to Sam Jackson movies because he's so good at those monologues.
Should I assume that you picked the one?
Yeah, and you picked the one?
Well, I picked a scene from the movie with the one.
Okay.
But why don't you talk about the one?
The one, Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
Keep going.
Blessed is he.
Well, keep going.
No, I've forgotten.
Oh, you didn't write it down?
No, I wrote down that bit and then right.
Okay, I'll finish it off.
Who?
Blessed he, I don't know, but then he ends it off, and you will know.
Because for he's truly his brother's keeper and a something of lost something. For you will know.
My name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you.
Pow, 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 pow. I love that scene because of the way it builds and because of how much it shows about that character of Jules, that he is this Bible quoting hitman. It's such a weird concept that only Quentin Tarantino could come up with.
And when he says
suit.
That, when he starts saying that,
yeah,
your ass is grass.
Your ass is grass.
You're in trouble when he starts saying that.
I used to know that off by heart, and so I thought I could prompt myself with the first line, but no.
Pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good, Alicia. My favorite scene is from Pulp Fiction. It's a scene at the diner when he spares Ringo and Honey Bunny.
Yep.
Because he's sitting there, he's got the gun, And Ringo is just sitting across from him, and he's like, "Sam, I'm going to spare you. Just give me the wallet. Which one is it? It's the one that says Bad Mother Effer on it."
Yeah.
And he gives him the cash. He just wants his wallet back. And he's like, Travolta's like, "I think we better get out of here." He goes, "Yeah, I think that's a good idea." But that whole dialogue, dialogue and his delivery of it.
It's so tense as well, that
so
scene.
Intense.
You just don't know what is going to happen. And you feel for Jules by that stage.
Well, because he said he wants to get
out.
He wants to walk the earth.
He wants to be, he wants redemption. He wants change. So that you want to see him get that change.
You do want to see him. You like Jules.
Yeah, I like Jules a lot.
I like Jules. He's a cool guy. I don't want to mess with him. I don't want to sit across him in a diner.
But he's super cool.
But with more than 100 movies, there's a lot of last details.
Yeah, a lot of trivia
about Samuel Jackson. So hit me up with something.
Well, did you know that Sam Jackson worked as Bill Cosby's stand-in on The Cosby Show for a few years?
I did not know that.
So he says, "I was the right height and right skin tone. For 2 to 3 years, they would put his crazy sweaters on me." So it was before anyone knew who he was.
I wonder if those sweaters hopefully have been burned.
Yeah.
Did you know that Samuel Jackson is an avid golfer?
Oh, yeah.
And when he is not acting, he's golfing. In fact, I forget what movie I was interviewing him for, but I said, "Don't you take a break?" He goes, "Why would I take a break? I just like to make movies." And he said, "If I go on location for a film," he said, "I try to find the nearest golf course because that will help make my decision of whether or not I'm going to do the film." So he bases location shooting.
I heard that.
That is crazy.
I heard he also sometimes has it in his contract that he can go golfing on certain days so that he can, just have his downtime.
That's pretty cool.
He loves it. Did you know he turned down or couldn't do the roles in Boogie Nights, Hotel Rwanda, The Matrix, and Training Day?
Oh, Hotel Rwanda, huh?
That would have been amazing.
That would have been amazing.
Although Don Cheadle was great.
Who was he going to be in Boogie Nights? Oh, the same Don Cheadle character.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I feel like, Don Cheadle and Lawrence Fishburne, they've had
those guys.
Parallel careers at times.
But that's what I mean. Samuel Jackson, he's got to have a lead performance. He needs a movie that's not just entertaining, but one that really showcases his talents, so he can not only get nominated for an Oscar, but win.
Maybe he doesn't want to, but
maybe he doesn't care.
He should.
He should.
He's great.
Because he's great. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I know we talked about how he makes more than 3 to 4 films a year, but he was 46 years old when he made Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that for hitting your stride at 46?
Yeah, and it was his 30th film at the time, but it's the one that made him a star.
One that broke him through.
Well, a bit of a sad fact. Did you know he overdosed on heroin several times?
I did not know that.
Yeah, sad. I'm glad he kicked that habit.
Jeez. One final thing, because he was actually very active in the civil rights movement, like we said. He was an usher at Martin Luther King's funeral.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
He's had 9 lives.
9 lives.
Well, let's get back into our Fast 5. At number 4 is...
Now, I know you all like stats, so let me give you some. Richmond High only graduates 50% of its students. And of those that do graduate, only 6% go to college.
Amazing. Wow. Coach Carter.
Coach Carter is a damn good movie. This movie came out January 14th, 2005, directed by Thomas Carter, no relation. Cost us $30 million. It made $67 million domestic. It was a big hit early that year. Movies that open in January, as you know, are not that great.
Usually.
This one was usually. This is the exception to the rule. And this is a film, Coach Carter. It has every sports cliche in the book.
Yep.
But what is it about this film that actually makes it better than you would expect?
I think it's Sam Jackson.
It is absolutely Sam Jackson.
And what he brings to the role. It could have been a very forgettable sports film, and it is very formulaic at times. It's based on an interesting true story. It's about this coach who made headlines in 1999 for benching his undefeated team because they didn't get very good academic results. But he kind of elevates this very standard sports redemption story with his character. He's got, an edge of hardness to him. He's got that command about him. He's not someone you want to cross, and he's someone who sticks with his word. And I think it is a very inspiring tale. It tells some important truths.
It's an inspiring film. It's a rousing film. And Sam Jackson's performance elevates the movie above all of those cliches.
Yep.
It's a fun movie. It's energetic. I mean, you like the supporting characters. And I did a double take when I saw Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that was his first ever movie.
First movie. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I forgot that he was in it.
When we're going back and rewatching this movie, isn't it fun to like see actors, when we think about the movies and then you see, oh, there's Paul Giamatti and there's Channing Tatum.
It makes me realize that it is 6 degrees of separation with everyone in Hollywood, because I feel like everyone's worked with someone at some point. Has worked with someone and works with someone. Like, you could do a whole map of everyone who's worked with each other.
It is a shark-infested pool.
It's amazing. Well, I know that you like Roger Ebert and his quotes. So he said that Jackson has the usual big speeches assigned to all coaches in all sports movies, but he delivers on them big time. His passion makes familiar scenes feel new. And that's true.
The Orlando Sentinel said Jackson plays the coach with wit and authority. His imposing presence ensures that he won't have to take much from anyone, even from the toughest punk on the team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, and I love the way the movie ended.
Yes.
Because he thought it was going to go one way.
And then it didn't.
It didn't.
For once.
We're not going to spoil that ending because we think you should see Coach Carter.
Yeah.
One of Samuel L. Jackson's best movies. Chris Day agrees. In a lead role. It's a lead role. We want to see more of Sam Jackson in a lead role. Chris Day says that Coach Carter is a remarkable true story that has unbelievable acting, not only by Sam Jackson, but also the rise of Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
The movie was what I think one of the best films of 2005, and a true story. Check it out. It's on Netflix.
I always thought Channing Tatum's first movie was Step Up films. The dance movies, but no, it was actually Coach Carter. Billy Polahan says, I'm not sure if this will make the Fast Five. Yes, it did, but my favorite Samuel L. Jackson film has to be Coach Carter. Such an underrated performance from Jackson. Ken Carter is more worried about his players' education than actually winning the games. The intensity and passion behind Carter's coaching methods, calling everyone sir, and doing many, many push-ups and suicides. Oh my gosh, I hate suicides. Causing his players to quit and parents to try to fire him. But through all that, Jackson's intense but cool performance makes the ending so satisfying and great. Samuel L. Jackson may be the coolest actor of all time, and this profiler cannot wait to see more of him for many years. Hashtag Film Geek, hashtag profiler for life, Mother F.
Mother F. Way to go, Billy Polahan, I'll tell you.
That's so great.
Well, now is the time where we usually pause to take care of some business.
Yes.
Why don't you do the honors?
Okay, well, usually we are live every week or every second week on YouTube. At the moment, we are not, but if this is streaming live, I'm going to jump into the live chat and talk to people. So, hi, me.
Hi.
Who's chatting right now. You can find us on youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network, where you can subscribe. Make sure you follow us on iTunes if you want to listen to the audio podcast, and rate and review. It's very important that you put down your thoughts, give us a 5-star if you want us to continue doing this show, and we definitely do. Also give our Facebook page a like, Profiles with Malone and Mantz. That's where you can participate in the brackets, and that's also where we find all these quotes that we read from all the profilers. And you can follow us on Twitter, at Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz, at Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz. Pause. At Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz.
Yes!
Did I do all right?
Way to go!
Yay.
Give it up. That is a high five. Time for another drink. Very, very good. Excellent job, Alicia Malone.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our quiz show.
Oh, quiz show, which I've already ruined mine.
Why?
Because we've already talked about it. So you go with yours.
What we talk about?
It was like which of these films has Samuel and Bruce Willis didn't they star together?
Gotcha. We already talked about that.
You go with yours.
All right, this one's easy because I know how much you love the Star Wars movies. Okay, in the Star Wars prequels, what color was Mace Windu's lightsaber?
Ooh.
Was it
I think I know this one.
Green?
Yeah.
B, blue?
Yeah.
C, purple?
Yeah.
D, red?
Purple.
Oh, she's got it.
I actually knew that one.
Good job. She's got it.
Usually I'm not good with trivia, but that one.
You are good with trivia.
I'm good at. All right.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, my friend.
Do we have time to go into our Fast Five number 3 before our guest calls in?
Well, I think we should.
Or should we talk about the others?
Let's go for the others.
Okay.
Excellent idea.
Sam Jackson has over 100 movies, so obviously we're not going to get to all of them with our Fast Five. So the others is where we talk about the other films that we love of his, like Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
I mean, that was the 5th time he worked with Quentin Tarantino, although he was just a voice in Inglourious Bastards. And his Stephen, is Calvin Candy's loyal house slave, and he's so fierce in this role. Again, not a starring role, but he does such a good job. You burns into your brain as that character.
Definitely. And I know you weren't crazy about this movie, but I loved Unbreakable.
It's a cult favorite now. People like it.
It is a cult favorite. I think the problem with Unbreakable was it was the first movie that M. Night Shyamalan made after The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good as The Sixth Sense,
And
but I
nothing
love that
else
it was,
has been.
and nothing else has been. That is very true.
I hope he can come back, though.
Sadly. We're hoping that his next movie, The Visit, is actually pretty decent.
I
But
love the long... Oh, yeah, so you love Unbreakable with Mr. Glass?
Because it's just, it is a superhero origin story that is grounded in reality, and I love the twist ending.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what it is, so you'll have to watch Unbreakable because it's good.
I love The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yep.
I love Gina Davis. And as Mitch Hennessy, Samuel plays the detective who's helping her character who has amnesia remember, what she was in her past. And he's a Mormon who smokes and drinks. He's great.
You love Gina Davis.
I love Gina Davis. She's the best.
An underrated little scene film, a gem called Mother and Child.
I haven't seen it.
It came out in 2010. It's an ensemble film about adoption, about women trying to have kids. And Sam Jackson plays an attorney who's seduced by someone who works for him, played by Naomi Watts. And it is a subtle, understated performance. You think Sam Jackson, you think of Pulp Fiction or just other intimidating roles. This is a really profound, poignant, understated role that he's done, and a movie that not a lot of people have seen. And it is excellent movie.
Another indie that I don't think a lot of people have seen is Black Snake Moan. It was actually the first film that I saw in America when I was over here for a visit a couple of years ago, before I moved here. And he plays Lazarus, who's trying to cure Christina Ricci's character of nymphomania by tying her up. It's directed and written by Craig Brewer, and Ebert says it is the oddest, most peculiar movie I've seen about sex, race, and redemption in the Deep South. It's weird, but I liked it.
It's a weird movie. I only saw it once, but I remember it sort of leaving me with a disturbed sort of feeling.
Yeah, it does. It's very disturbing.
I'll tell you, a movie that I just love is The Red Violin.
Yes.
The Red Violin played at the Toronto Film Festival in 1998, but one of our other favorite movies is The Negotiator, which came out in 1998, was directed by F. Gary Gray, and joining us right now on the phone, we are very excited to welcome F. Gary Gray to Profiles. Gary, you are on the line with Alicia and Scott.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
We're so excited. Thank you so much for calling into Profiles to talk about Samuel L. Jackson and working with him on The Negotiator.
It's all good.
We were just rewatching this film, and I love it. I love the interaction between Sam Jackson and Kevin Spacey, two of the best actors of our time. Can you talk about why you think Samuel L. Jackson is one of the best actors out there?
I think, it's a lot of things. I mean, he's very, very powerful. But besides that, besides the powerful on the other end of the spectrum, you can relate to him. You have these movie stars that are, they feel a certain way. They almost feel untouchable. But Sam is powerful, but at the same time accessible. And I think people like that about him.
Well, how did you come to cast him in The Negotiator? Wasn't Kevin Spacey supposed to play the hostage negotiator? How did Sam Jackson end up with that role?
It's interesting, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but Sylvester Stallone was supposed to play that role.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, and I can't get into the details, but basically, I joined the project, and we ended up casting Sam. Now, you have to remember, it's 1996 or something like that. I forget what year it was, but, there was no one hotter than Sam Jackson and Kevin Spacey at the time. They're coming off of the wave of Pulp Fiction and also Usual Suspects. And, I personally felt that there's no hotter duo. And, you know, besides the fact that they were cool at the time, there's a lot of depth, you know, and you just wouldn't expect that duo. And that's what I voted for, and that's what we ended up with.
And Sam Jackson, no one delivers a monologue quite like him. What was it like to work with him in this character in particular, who's a character that does talking for a living?
That's a good point.
Well, you know what? It was actually really cool. It was a challenge. Yeah, I was 27 years old at the time, so it was a lot of learning for me. I think I took more away from that movie than any other movie in terms of just the learning curve. You know, I learned to work with real, you know, not saying that before then I didn't work with real actors, but I worked with actors with a ton of experience. So for me, it was a little bit of a challenge, but ultimately it turned out great. And like you said, Sam is amazing when you give him lines. And the more you give him, the more he just kind of turns up and brings a lot of life and color to him. So I enjoyed what we ended up doing, but honestly, it was really a learning process for me.
Wow. Well,
27, that's so young.
That's young. Wow, I feel old. How was the dynamic between Jackson?
Yeah, I was a kid. I was trying to figure it out, trying to figure out ways to how to articulate my ideas, and they're talking, you know, I think Kevin had gone to Juilliard, and he had, I think, directed Albino Alligator at the time. So I'm dealing with a director, I'm dealing with guys who have so much experience, and I'm this 27-year-old kid who, you know, could barely articulate his thoughts, but I knew what I thought was good, and I knew what I thought was cool. And so I just had to kind of learn through that movie, and they did a great job, you know, especially dealing with a novice.
Well, actually, that's a great question. I would love to know, like, with Sam Jackson in particular, what you've learned as a director, because, I mean, you were only 27 and you made this great movie, and with these two amazing actors, one of them was already an Oscar winner. So, like, what did you learn as a director by working with an intense actor like Sam Jackson?
Well, I guess I've learned this lesson already, so I could put it out there and not be as embarrassed as I was when I figured out I wasn't doing it right. Basically, I would direct from Video Village, and Video Village is just an area where they have a bunch of monitors set up, and you can watch the shot and you can watch the actors. And I would sit in my chair and think that I knew what was happening on screen because I'm watching it. You know, it's just, you know, that's what I thought. And what I learned was there are little nuances and little things that actors do, from little just behavioral cues that you pick up in a wink or in a facial twitch or something like that, and you can't see it on those small monitors. Not until you see it on the big screen will you see that they made a choice, and that choice is illustrated in some of these smaller choices or physical things that they do. And so I remember one day I asked for a moment. I said, you know, I need a little more of this, whatever that was. And Spacey at the time said, you know, I gave it to you. And I watched the dailies. He said, you know, I'll give you more, but, you know, just, you know, I gave it to you. So I watched the dailies, and I saw it on the screen, and it was this little eye flicker, which was the acknowledgement of what I wanted. And from that point on, I always directed next to the camera. And so it's the same with Sam Jackson. He really knows how to give you power and really go big and make you feel it. But then there are little things that he does as well that, unless you're next to the camera, you won't find them, and you won't see them. And I learned that lesson in a big way on The Negotiator.
Wow.
That's amazing, because a lot of the movie is close-ups of these two characters, and a lot of the movie is about their relationship and the way they talk to each other. Is it true that Kevin Spacey stayed on set to deliver his lines to Sam Jackson even when he wasn't on camera?
You know, it was a combination of things. You know, it's so long ago. I wish I could give you all the details. I do remember, though, that we shot a conversation with Kevin's side one month, and then an entirely different month we shot Sam's side. And there were times where I'm on the phone speaking to the actor, you know, and obviously if Kevin was available or Sam was available, then that happened. But it's a testament to their skill level to talk to a kid on the other line or the script supervisor and give that type of performance. Again, it's just a testament to how skilled these guys are.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Jackson has made more than 100 movies, and what are some of your favorites, and why?
Jackie Brown, because of that ponytail. No, I'm kidding. No, listen, Jackie Brown was dope. I mean, I just liked it because it was just gutter and just awesome, and you didn't know what to expect. But that's Tarantino.
Yeah.
But, you know, Sam really finds a way to slip into a crazy pocket when he works with Tarantino. Like, that duo is just an amazing duo. You have duos that come along in film like Scorsese and De Niro, and you know, you can go down the line of just famous duos, and I think that paired up with Tarantino, he does a lot of his best work. So Jackie Brown's one. Shaft was a really good one too, because he just kicked ass. I like, you know, him teaming up with John Singleton. And he did this one called The Negotiator that I thought was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
We love
really
it.
Good.
I wasn't a big fan of the director, but I thought the performance was good.
I love it.
Well, you know what, Gary? We are both, Alicia and I are both seeing Straight Outta Compton this week.
Yes.
And we are very, very excited about it. The movie opens August 14th. And this is we're both very, I remember when that album came out and how it shook the music industry up. So what can people expect from Straight Outta Compton?
They can expect the unexpected. You know, we've been screening this movie around the country, and the one thing that people say when they walk out is, I didn't know.
Wow.
Oh my God, I did not expect to get that movie. And they love the movie. They're surprised when they walk out. You experience a full range of emotions. It's not just a rap movie. And people are surprised. The performances are great. It's American history. It's a lot of fun. I don't even want to sound like I'm selling it hard. I mean, I'm still a little bit like Donald Trump right now. But it's not necessary. It really is good, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, we're excited about it, too. And, Gary, thank you so much for calling into Profiles. Again, Straight Outta Compton opens on August 14th. And, Gary, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate your time and talking about the great Samuel L. Jackson.
Thank you.
That's right. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Yes. Yay!
That is how we
Good
roll.
one.
That's what Profiles is all about. Give it another one. One
and
more.
I'm straight out of Canberra, so I don't remember that album coming out, but I'm looking forward to seeing Straight Outta Compton.
I remember being in Philly, which is not Compton, but it's close enough.
Close enough.
When that movie came out, or when that album came out, rather. And
Yeah.
it was just one of those seminal albums like Nirvana's Nevermind or something like that, where it was such the right album at the right time and ahead of its time and still holds up. But back to the others.
Yeah, there's still plenty more Sam Jackson
Hit
films.
me
Just
up here, sister.
to go through some more really quickly. The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Frozone.
Yes, Frozone.
I mean, I think that Sam Jackson has one of the coolest voices around, so it was great that he played a cool, ice cool character.
Good one, Miss Malone.
Also love Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a mother effing plane.
Snakes on a monkey fighting plane, if you watch it on TV.
No.
You know that famous line where he goes, I've had it with these mother effing snakes on this mother effing plane. If you watch it on TV, the TV edit says, I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Oh, that is so not the same.
It's so funny.
That is so not the same.
It's ridiculous. But Snakes on a Plane, as you mentioned before, it started out as this internet phenomenon because when people heard the very literal title, just your imagination went wild. You're like, what could it be? It seems so, exactly as it is. It's just snakes on a plane and Sam Jackson. How can that be? And it spawned all these great fan-made videos, these t-shirts, music videos. And I went and saw it on my birthday when it came out.
September 4th?
Yep.
2006.
Yes.
Yes!
I did.
I know dates.
Me and my friends bought these t-shirts beforehand. We wore them to the cinema to see it and just loved every second of it. It was great. I'm trying to convince Guilty Movie Pleasures to talk about it because I think they should.
I think it's interesting that when you bought that t-shirt, did you know that it was going to come in handy for an episode of Profiles?
No, but I knew I didn't want to throw it out. I mean, how long has it been? It's pretty tight now.
Well,
but you know,
looks like you just bought it.
Still rocking it. What's
Another
some other
movie
ones?
I love, Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea is another movie. It's almost like a guilty pleasure kind of film. It is Jaws on steroids. And what I love about Deep Blue Sea is how Sam Jackson meets his fate.
Yep.
I don't want to say too much about it, but halfway through the film, something happens to Samuel L. Jackson, and it is an unforgettable scene that is worth the price of admission.
I know. He's had that. He's had dinosaurs, snakes. He's had to deal with a lot. Also want to talk about the brackets. So this week on our Facebook page, Profiles with Malone and Mantz, they talked about their favorite Samuel L. Jackson characters. So they said they left Jules out. So they left Jules out from Pulp Fiction because he won the Quentin Tarantino bracket. So the other characters they looked at was Mr. Glass from Unbreakable versus Valentine from Kingsman. Mr. Glass won. And then they did Stephen from Django Unchained versus Coach Carter.
Oh.
Stephen won. So it came down to the finals, Mr. Glass versus Stephen. Who do you think won as the favourite Samuel L. Jackson character according to our profilers on our Facebook page?
Stephen?
No, Mr. Glass.
Mr.
Unbreakable.
Glass from Unbreakable.
People love that movie.
People do love that movie. Go back and watch it again.
I will.
In fact, our good friend, our favorite profiler, film critic Rachel Cushing, had this to say about Unbreakable.
Okay, she's going to turn me, I know.
Unbreakable, this will turn you. If I can't turn you to Unbreakable, Rachel Cushing will. She says, Unbreakable is the one M. Night Shyamalan film that has truly stood the test of time, and that is in no small thanks to Samuel Jackson's brilliant performance as Mr. Glass. Jackson is always best when he's playing a cool character, but he gets to do so much more as Elijah Price, a sickly and brittle yet sophisticated and highly intelligent man with a love of comic books and an underlying obsession with finding his alter ego, someone who is as unbreakable as he is breakable. His simmering anger and bitterness play perfectly against Bruce Willis's understated hero, and the pair take the most interesting story Shyamalan has ever written to a whole new level.
I'll give it another go.
Give it a go.
I will. And speaking of comic books, let's get back into our Fast Five number 3, which is...
I don't remember giving you a key. You really think I'd need one?
Captain America,
the Winter Soldier, released April 4th, 2014, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, cost $170 million to make, $715 million worldwide, was nominated for an Oscar for visual effects. Now, I gotta say that of all the Marvel Studios, Marvel Cinematic Universe films, this is the best one.
This is my favorite one.
Why?
Because I feel like the Russo brothers elevated it by looking at a way to shake up the story with the dismantling of S.H.I.E.L.D., with changing up the action, and then particularly, because I love my classic movies, the way that they looked at 70s conspiracy thrillers as influence. And some people out there say, no, it's nothing like it. Go watch 3 Days of the Condor, because that is very much where these guys got their inspiration for Captain America the Winter Soldier. Also, I like the fact that Natasha Romanoff, played by Scarlett Johansson, has more of a role here. You get to find out more about her. And I think Nick Fury is used in an interesting way. So even though this was the 6th time that Sam Jackson had played Nick Fury in film, for me it's the most interesting.
Yeah, it was the film that he finally had more to do.
Yeah, and he's in the middle of this whole operation.
And he also was in the middle of a crazy ambush on his car or his SUV.
Yep.
And it was just, I felt, the closest we've gotten yet to a Nick Fury standalone movie. Why we haven't gotten that standalone movie yet is a mystery to me. But what I loved about The Winter Soldier was that because of Nick Fury and the Falcon and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, it felt like a mini Avengers movie unto itself. And because it did have a better story, like you said, it was a nod to the 70s conspiracy movies, political thrillers. Robert Redford
Incredible.
was incredible, and he was in 3 Days of the Condor. Nick Fury.
And it was like all the origin stories were done. So now you can get into the meaty stuff.
Just tell a good story. I mean, everyone loves the Avengers movie, the first movie. I mean, I liked it. It was fun, but this one just had such a better story.
Story, that's the main thing.
And Variety agreed in their review back in 2014, said it's chock full of breathless cliffhangers dictated by the genre, but equally rich in quieter, tender character moments.
I also loved that the only Easter egg I understood from the film, because of course there were a lot of little moments that comic book fans would have understood, and I was sitting next to Tiffany Smith, I think, and she was like, and understanding everything. The one that I got, which I loved, was Nick Fury's tombstone, which says the path of the righteous man. Ezekiel 25:17. So that's a little nod to Pulp Fiction, and I thought that was great. And it's interesting that back in 2001, Sam Jackson gave his consent to Marvel to use his likeness for the ultimate version of Nick Fury. And then 2008, he began to play the character, and he has a 9-picture deal. He's played him now 7 times. The next 2, who knows? I don't know if he's going to be in Civil War, so we'll wait and see. He says he doesn't know, but he thought he was, so who knows what's going to happen with that.
Maybe they're saving him for the standalone.
But yeah, that's always been the rumor, hasn't it? The Nick Fury standalone. And I'd like to know more about his character. I think he's cool.
So he's come full circle.
How did he lose his eye? Have they ever said that?
I will find out in the standalone movie, you know. But you're right. The way he's come full circle by giving him allowing Marvel to use the likeness for the comics, and he winds up playing him.
Yeah.
But I just remember watching Iron Man, the first Iron Man, in May of 2008. The end of that film. The end of that film, and then the closing credits, and then the post-credit scene.
Because that was like the first time that we'd had this post-credit scene, the first Marvel movie like this.
But, you know, no one expected that scene, that very last scene, where he's basically launching the Avengers Initiative.
Clever.
It was so cool.
And then that launched everything that we see now.
That changed everything. I mean,
changed the game.
It changed the game. I mean, it's unprecedented what these Marvel Cinematic Universe movies have managed to do.
To create a universe.
To create the Avengers and to follow them with like Phase 2 and Phase 3. And now every other studio, especially DC, is trying to catch up, and they're just so behind.
Yeah, they need a Nick Fury, cool character
they
like that.
They need a Nick Fury. Chuck Wood III said this about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Samuel L. Jackson's performance as Nick Fury in Captain America and the other Marvel Cinematic Universe films sits very high on the list of some of my favorite performances in not just one, but multiple superhero films. He brings such a different take on the universe that makes Nick Fury a very essential part of the MCU, as we say. No Nick Fury, no Avengers. Simple as that.
Very true. Well, Danny Birdsall says Nick Fury was literally created from Samuel L. Jackson, so him portraying him in the film is a perfect comic book casting as you could ever hope for. He is an actor who dominates the screen and always has a dynamic presence in even the smallest of cameos. When he does get the screen time he deserves, he is able to pull off the comedic dialogue as well as the badass action sequences. He is an actor like no other and will be remembered for generations to come. And because of all his small roles in the Marvel films, that's part of the reason why he's one of the highest grossing, or he's the highest grossing actor of all time. He has the Guinness World Record for that.
And also, I mean, look at the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, I think he even got the world record before Marvel, and now he must just be off the charts.
He's off the charts. It's got to be like over $7 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to number 2, a movie we already talked about a little, which is...
But let me give you some advice. Never say no to a hostage taker. It's in the manual. Now, are you going to tell me no again?
No, I'm not.
No, wrong answer.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Samuel Jackson in The Negotiator, July 29th, 1998, directed by our special guest that we just spoke to, F. Gary Gray. That was a great conversation.
He's cool.
Cost $50 million to make. Only made $44.5 million at the box office. Too bad. So if you're watching or listening to Profiles, please watch The Negotiator. It's an underseen film. In fact, I confess that I had not seen this movie until my partner in crime here said, you got to see The Negotiator. It's got to be on our list. And she was absolutely right. It is a great movie. It is the Dog Day Afternoon of the 90s.
True. I mean, I had so much fun rewatching this again because it moves at such a great pace and it has such a great style. I had no idea that F. Gary Gray was only 27 when he made this movie, because much like Coach Carter, which is very formulaic, if you look at The Negotiator, it it has all the cliches and formulas of this kind of genre, this kind of film, but the style elevates it. It's the score, the way the camera moves, the pace of the film. It keeps you guessing right to the end. I mean, you know that his character didn't do it, but you don't know who actually did, and he's trying to find out. Plus, it uses Kevin Spacey and Sam Jackson against each other and with each other, and just in the right way, because they're both such great actors. They're both great at delivering monologues, and they're both great at playing, like Kevin Spacey is great at playing this calm, very calm guy. He plays the negotiator, and then Sam Jackson is great at playing the guy who could go off the rails at any moment, and also is quite funny and one step ahead, very smart.
Well, the movie's called The Negotiator, but it should be called The Negotiators, because they both had the job.
Double.
But Entertainment Weekly, in their review from 1998, Owen Gleiberman said, just about everyone is blowing off steam or holding it in, and that's the movie's chief pleasure. And go ahead.
I was going to say Roger Ebert said much of the movie simply consists of close-ups of the two of them talking, but it's not simply dialogue because the actors make it more. They invest with conviction and urgency.
And no one writes better than our profilers. Cole Boone said about The Negotiator, one of Samuel L. Jackson's more underrated, overlooked films, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's one of those intense, nail-biting films with a unique premise that you don't often see Hollywood make anymore. Jackson's Danny Roman is a man you are rooting for the entire time, even through the questionable decisions, and the back and forth between him and Kevin Spacey's Chris Sabian is what brings you back for repeat viewings. F. Gary Gray's direction was fantastic. Way to go, F. Gary Gray. And The Negotiator benefits from Jackson's strong co-lead performance.
So that means our Fast Five number one has got to be...
Oh, you ready to blow?
Yeah, I'm ready to blow.
Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. Every time my fingers touch brain, I'm Superfly TNT. I'm the Guns of the Navarone.
Wow.
I love that. I didn't want to use the Ezekiel because we already talked about it before. Pulp Fiction. So many great lines in this film.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
I love it.
So great. Released October 14th, 1994. Directed by the one and only Quentin Tarantino. 7 Oscar nominations, including supporting actor, Samuel L. Jackson's only Oscar nom to date. 1 win for Best Screenplay. Cost $8.5 million. Made over $214 million worldwide. Won the Palme d'Or at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival.
Well, after playing Big Don in True Romance, which was written by Quentin Tarantino, Tarantino contacted Samuel L. Jackson and said that he wrote the part of Jules Winterfield for Samuel L. Jackson, and then he went to audition, but Sam Jackson didn't actually know it was an audition. He thought it was just a reading, so he went and he just read the lines. He didn't give much to it. He almost lost the role because of that, because the studio was like, you really want him? He wasn't a star at this point.
No, that's right.
So like, you really want him? And Paul Calderone, who's a Puerto Rican actor, and he has a small role in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he's Marcellus Wallace's assistant.
Yeah, he also auditioned for the role of Jules, and he was so good that he almost got it. And then they said to Sam, can you come back and do another audition? And of course he nailed it, and now he's Jules, and this is the film that made him a star internationally.
When he went back for that second audition, he brought a burger and a Coke with him. So he's standing in front of Quentin Tarantino, like with this burger and Coke, just like he did in front of Frank Whaley before he whacked him. And they were terrified of him. And that's how he got the job.
He was great.
He was great. This is definitely a star-making performance, and it is a masterpiece movie, created a genre unto itself. It is a non-linear structure. We talked about this so much when we did our Quentin Tarantino profiles.
But Jules is like, as we were saying before, he's an interesting character. He's Shakespearean in a way. You know, he has these great monologues. He always looks cool, and he's someone that you like. I mean, you like this buddy duo that you've got on there.
Jules and
you love
Vince.
Jules and Vince together.
They're great, even though they get on each other's nerves.
Yeah,
you know,
hearing them talk about Royale with cheese in the car. It's great.
It's great. And when that came out, the first time you're watching this, it's like they're having a totally meaningless, pointless conversation, but you're hanging on every word.
Exactly.
And they just made this dialogue. I mean, it's a tribute to not only Tarantino as a screenwriter, but also to Travolta and Jackson as performers, that they can make it sound so natural.
Exactly. And I agree with F. Gary Gray that the combination of Sam Jackson and Quentin Tarantino is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love when those two work together.
De Niro and Scorsese.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Cruise and Chris McQuarrie. I mean, they're sort of new. But going back to my good, my esteemed Roger Ebert, he said it's so well written with it in a scruffy fanzine way that you want to rub noses in it, the noses of those zombie school writers who take screenwriting classes that teach them how to formula for big hit films.
Yeah.
But it's just such a well-written, such a great movie.
And Entertainment Weekly said, as superb as Travolta, Willis, and Keitel are, the actor who reigns over Pulp Fiction is Samuel L. Jackson. He just about lights fires with his gremlin eyes and transforms his speeches into hypnotic bebop soliloquies. I love that.
Wow, that's a good one.
And Nicholas Maglieri says, Pulp Fiction may have the most quotable, memorable movie script of all time, in no small part due to Samuel L. Jackson's performance as Jules. Of all his great lines, the Ezekiel 25:17 monologue is particularly memorable, partly because of the way Jackson changes the way it's uttered by the end of the film, giving it new meaning. Even though Jules is a mob hitman, Samuel L. Jackson plays the role with enough charisma that we can't help but like him as soon as we see him. And such a cool character.
Cool character, and ending it off is Camille Howard, who says Pulp Fiction changed everything. Yes, it did. And even with Samuel L. Jackson's relatively off-the-wall performance, he is the most grounded character in the whole movie. His monologues all come from a land of make-believe that only Tarantino can write in, and they are delivered stunningly by Jackson. In a film that almost resembles an anthology, Jules is the right man to close the story and to tie everything together. We're pretty lucky we caught him at such a transitional period. Yes, we are.
Say what? One more time.
One more time, mother effer. Well, before we close out the show, just want to take care of business one last time. Again, make sure you go to iTunes and subscribe to Profiles. This is really important. Please subscribe to Profiles. Rate and review us on iTunes. Of all the things that you could be doing, this is where we sort of stay alive with this podcast. Rate and review us. Go to youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network and subscribe to the YouTube version of Profiles. Make sure you share that with everyone. Please get your friends to share that as well. Go to our Facebook page, Profiles with Malone and Mantz, and like our Facebook page so you can be the first ones to find out who our next profile is. You can be the first ones to write comments that we will read and chime in on the brackets. Make sure you share Profiles with everyone you can, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz, at Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz, at Alicia Malone, at Movie Mantz, because it's all about the pause, and that means we close our books on this episode of Profiles. Once again, the rundown coming in at number 5, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Number 4, Coach Carter. Number 3, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Number 2, The Negotiator. And number 1, Pulp Fiction. One more high five for the road. Thanks so much for joining us on Profiles. We'll see you soon. Until next time, bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.